If you're like me, then Avenger is your favorite era of Chuck E. Cheese. When I say Avenger, I don't just mean the Avenger era, which was prime, but the mouse as a whole, including his late 90s era, Cool Chuck era, and Avenger. But why exactly do us fans like Avenger so much? Why are we die-hard fans for this era and not the current Rockstar era? Well, there are lots of things that could explain this, and that is why I made this. My channel has been blowing up since the beginning of summer, and I want to keep this going. A couple of people have probably messaged me, basically knocking me for begging for likes and subscriptions. If this were the case, I would have no likes because no one likes a beggar. I just simply ask you guys to show me some support for my channel. You guys enjoy these videos. You keep me energized to produce more of these. Like, you guys are my batteries, and I'm the Energizer Bunny. I live for you guys. So your support really means a lot. Thanks a lot for tuning into another Chuckster Chat episode. If you're new here and would like to join the Chuckster crew, I made that up. Hit that frickin' subscribe button. As for a lot of my videos, I like to start with a brief background and history lesson, and that's still the case here. Duncan Brandon started the role of giving life to Chuck E. Cheese in 1994, back when Disney produced some shows for CEC. Back then, he was still going for the hard Jersey accent, trying to impersonate the previous voice actor Scott Wilson. I'm going to make a separate video on that era, but this video isn't covering that era. This video is describing the calmer, child-friendlier era we all know and love. Duncan gave life to Chuck in a smoother way in 1997. This would be the iconic, recognizable voice for almost another 15 years. This was the voice most of us grew up with, and naturally, it became the one I fell in love with. In 2012, however, things changed big time for the company when they decided to just up and give Chuck a massive makeover. He was given life by a new person, Jared Reddick. He is the lead singer of the rock band Bowling for Soup, and previously did voice work on the hit show Disney animated series, Phineas and Ferb.
There's 104 days of summer vacation, and school comes along just to end it. So the annual problem for our generation is finding a good way to spend it. Like maybe building a rocket or fighting a mummy or climbing up the Eiffel Tower. Discovering something that doesn't exist, giving a monkey a shower. Surfing tidal waves, creating nanobots, or locating Frankenstein's brain. Fighting your dodo bird, painting your cotton ear, driving our sister insane.
Unlike many others, I really like this carnation of Chuck E. Cheese as well. The early portions, that is. I'll eventually make a video on that subject as well. Rockstar Chucky is good. He's produced many good things throughout his official, now 5-year reign. However, all good things must come to an end, and Rockstar's reign died too early in 2014. Current Rockstar isn't bad, he's alright, but personally, he makes Avenger Chuck look like a god compared to him. Today, I'll be comparing the two and listing off what Avenger did right. Since the obvious approach for this video would to be including attachments about the show, I'll save those until the end. Until then, let's focus on some things that are outside of that criteria. One of the many things that Avenger did right was with the animation. One of the biggest and noticeable changes that happened to Chucky in 2012 was that he was CGI animated. If you know anything about CGI, you'll know that it's hard and let's not forget, expensive to reproduce. That's why for the CGI counterparts, we always seem to see the same few poses and frames. From what I understand and from what I was told, the company that animated the commercials and did CGI work for CEC is no longer in contract. That's the reason why us fans are so happy to see a rare new pose of a CGI character. That's also the reason why these fun, energized commercials don't feature Chuck anymore. Chuck has always been in the commercials, and now that he is absent, it's adding to the company's generic feel. Avenger, however, did not experience this problem. He was traditionally animated with 2D. This worked out because if a company decided to drop down, another one can come and you would barely notice the difference. The animation doesn't only apply for the commercials, it goes for the merchandise as well. Nowadays, if there's CGI work on a prize, it's most likely going to be a chippy shopped, photoshopped Chucky. on one of his several poses. Avenger Chucky didn't really experience this problem at all. There are many different poses of this character, some never being used or seen again. In this case, that's a good thing. Avenger had a large variety of artwork and different movements to choose from. We didn't see the same 8 poses reused over and over and over and over and over and over again. 2D is cheap to make, easy to use, and well, let's face it, it's basic. No one cares if something is CGI or not. Actually, many people prefer 2D over CGI, so I think that's automatically where Rockstar messed up. Once again, this doesn't only go for the prizes, this can go for the posters as well. Many of this era of in-store posters used the same animation style. They had way more variety than today, which gave the character more personality. Another way Avenger became more productive than Rockstar is that Duncan was involved in the company and its history. Duncan Brannon has been heard in orientation tapes. He has gone to general management conventions and entertained hundreds here in Vegas. I'm not so sure about Rockstar, however. I haven't seen the current orientation tapes. Maybe he is in them. Maybe he does go to GM conventions. I don't know. What I'm saying is, Duncan seems to have been way more involved with the company. I remember a few years back there was a video online with Duncan Brannon and John Bowen messing around at Department 18 using the voices. Duncan just gives off that vibe that makes you think he loves his job. And he did. He still does. To this day, he said if CEC ever offered him a job involved with the shows, he would take that offer. Jarrett, however, gives off that vibe that makes you think he thinks his role at CEC is a job, not a lifestyle. And that's just the thing to expect when you hire celebrities. Jarrett is a busy man. He has way more thoughts on his mind than just giving life to an animatronic mouse at a children's pizza parlor. Not saying he doesn't love his job. That man really does like his job. He wouldn't have auditioned in the first place if he didn't. He even takes his kids to Chuck E. Cheese's. That's pretty cool. Explain that to your kids that the singing mouse on stage has an identical voice as you. Okay. The moment most of you guys have been waiting for. These are the ways Avenger has succeeded and shows where Rockstar has failed. We all know Avenger as a nice, kind, big-hearted mouse. He's a person you'd like to sit down and have a conversation with. He's like the older brother you never had. Avenger is known for his friendly personality. Avenger Chuck never puts down his friends. He rarely even raises his voice. He's smarter than all of his friends, but he doesn't brag and boast about it. They're a group, and Chuck knows that. He doesn't put himself above his friends. He isn't too cool for school. Think of everything what I just said. Now think of the opposite. Yeah, that's Rockstar. Modern Rockstar, that is. I'm going to be making a video on why I can't stand modern Rockstar, but I'll briefly go into summary here. Long story short, modern Rockstar is a jerk. He's always mean to his friends and he puts them down every chance he gets. Especially Pasquale. Man, if I was that guy, I would have Seth Rollins curb stomped Chucky right now.
Oh, no. Stop. 7 ready.
I don't know how he puts up with all his crap. Modern Rockstar is a scum of his former self. He thinks he's above everyone and boasts about his superiority of intelligence over his dumb friends. Rockstar has no patience at all whatsoever and isn't a guy you would want to be in the same room with. Don't get me wrong, Rockstar wasn't always a huge jerk. His early self was a nice, kind-hearted kid, but his current attitude is horrible. We tried asking why they always make Rockstar a huge jerk to his friends, and they replied with, they don't want him to be preachy.
Potatoes, tomatoes, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, beans, greens, beans, greens, beans, 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 greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, chicken, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken,
Come on, guys. That's a pretty lame excuse. No one ever wanted Chuck to be preachy. Avenger wasn't preachy, and he seemed to work out and make a connection with kids just fine. Right now, try and think of an inspirational quote from the Rockstar era. Go ahead, I'll wait.
live for moments like this.
You live for embarrassing moments?
Oh, Jasper.
No, I live for a challenge. Because no matter how tough a situation might be, if you work hard enough and don't give up, you're bound to figure it out eventually. And once you do figure it out, you're better off because of it.
That's true, Larry. Way to keep a positive attitude.
Yeah. Well, life is going to hand you challenges from time to time. All you can do is decide how you're going to respond. Me, I just try to do my best and forget about the rest.
Seems to be about it, and to be fair, that's not even from Chucky. That was from Larry. There's a thick line between being an inspiration and being preachy. Now think about any inspirational quotes from the Avenger era. Unless you were born last year, automatically tons of quotes from his era should have popped in your head. There's many more, but for the sake of this video, I'll move on to the next topic. The next thing that might come as a no-brainer for the older fans, but might not be as obvious for the newer fans from 2014 and up till now. Obviously, show quality isn't as good as its former self. If you were here to experience the Avenger shows, you would have known that the shows weren't ran how poorly they are today. There wasn't such a thing as single song skits. There was no puppet skits that much. Reusing songs every other show was out of the question. Things really are ran today differently for the worse. Avenger shows had heart. They had variety. They did classic covers of songs that parents knew and sometimes did modern songs that children knew the lyrics to. It felt like they were actually a band. Today, however, all we have are 4-minute originals using puppets in a Sesame Street style of shows. Even early Rockstar had some great shows. April 2013, January 2014 for example. Even though they changed a lot of the aspects that the Avenger era shows had, it's still better than today's standards. Go ahead and watch an Avenger show segment, particularly from January or April 2012. Now watch the current shows from 2016 and 2017. Yeah, it's depressing, right? And that is just a sample of all the things Avenger Chuck did right during his reign. I know that there's way more, but for the sake of this video, I'll leave it at that. Should I make a part 2? If you want me to, list some things in the comments and they might be featured. Thanks for watching and subscribe. 10 minutes and 55 seconds. 1